So we made a motion, right?
Yes.
To approve the agenda. I would like to propose that in the interest of time, we move our North Park student presentation up to after our parent advisory section, so that everybody can get home and get their homework done and do that. Let me try that again. So I would propose that we move the North Park student presentation up to after item G on the agenda, so that we can make sure our students can get home.
I will amend my motion to include that.
Okay,
Second.
okay, terrific. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Right. We'll move to, I have a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of the governing board for April 11th, 2023.
All motion. Second.
Thank you. Motion by Ms. Grease, second by Ms. Love. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, let's go on to our student recognition, the Grit Student Award. Mr. Clement.
It's Mrs. Barris tonight.
All right.
We like to trick you. So this is my favorite part of the meeting. If you are in the audience, students, and you are being recognized for the Grit Award tonight, if you could please bring your certificate and come up front, right in front of us. And if you are joining us virtually, if you could raise your hand and Mr. Heinlein will find you. I know we have at least 2 families, Mr. Heinlein, that are joining us. Nope, keep your certificate, sweetie. And then what you're gonna do is just gonna form a line right here. And you're gonna face your parents in the audience.
Perfect.
Perfect. We have,
Good job, sweetie. Perfect. Right there.
okay, the students in front of you tonight are being nominated for the Grit Award. These students persevere and keep going even when they have adversity or don't want to. I know that's such a great characteristic. I'll go ahead and get started. If you students are up here and you hear me call your name, if you want to step forward a little bit or give a little bit of a wave so we know who you are as I call your name. First up from Bridgeport in 2nd grade, I have Ava Ridgely. Ava perseveres even when things are difficult. She listens to instructions, does her work carefully, prints neatly, and always puts forth her best effort. We are very proud of her, and she is so deserving of this honor. Congratulations. From Cedar Creek, I have Kimberly Dominguez in 6th grade. Kimberly is a hard worker. She does not shy away from challenges. She faces them with perseverance and grit. Kimberly always turns in her work on time. She's a role model student. Keep up the good work, Kimberly. Congratulations. Joining us virtually, I have Camila Salgado in TK from Helmers. Camilla is, I think this might be my first TK student. Camilla is dedicated to her learning. She perseveres even when work gets tricky. She never lets a challenge stand in her way. Camilla always tries her best. We are so proud of her progress. Congratulations, Camilla. Congratulations. Coming up from Emblem in 5th grade, I have Josh Marshall. Josh exceeds expectations in my classroom. He's kind, caring, and goes above and beyond with all assignments, no matter what obstacles he might be facing. Congratulations, Joshua. From Highland, also in 4th grade, I have Faith Garces. Fate shows grit and perseverance in all subject areas. She listens attentively during lessons and participates frequently with excellent comments and questions. Fate's academic perseverance and outstanding effort to be kind and respectful student are reasons why she deserves the Grit Award. Congratulations. From Foster in first grade, I have Alina Rahimzad. Alina is a hardworking first grade student that strives for excellence in all learning tasks. She's a reader that chooses to work through challenging words rather than have others pronounce them for her. Alina pushes herself to solve even the most challenging math problems. She's a model student that demonstrates a strong work ethic. Keep up the hard work, Alina, and congratulations. From Mountain View in sixth grade, I have Tahia Tarling. Tahia demonstrates incredible grit in everything she does. She shows determination towards her goals and works diligently to achieve academic success. She never lets a challenge stand in her way. She asks questions and perseveres until she is successful. Congratulations. From North Park in kindergarten, I have Hayden Schoberg. Hayden has overcome some obstacles this year. He's very strong academically, but has had some other things to work on in class. With support from his teacher, parents, and other support team members, and a lot of hard work and perseverance on his part, he's making progress and has shown great improvement. We are so proud of him. Congratulations. From Plum Canyon in second grade, I have Emily Jing. Emily is working towards an ice skating career while upholding all the tenets of Panther Pride. She wakes up at 5 a.m. 3 school days a week to go to the Cube and then goes back for afternoon training each day, all while earning top academic scores. She excels as a school citizen and clearly possesses excellent study habits. She's proud to represent her culture and dress to celebrate their holidays here at school. She has friends and keeps them without conflict day in and day out. She is a second grader that possesses these skills and truly exemplifies grit. Congratulations. Next up is Wesley Miller from Rio Vista in fifth grade. Wesley is determined to succeed. He truly takes ownership of his learning and has learned great strategies to focus and to do his best. He works hard, he completes all of his assignments and always asks for help when needed. He takes work home and communicates with his mom and brothers to get extra help. He makes a positive attitude and takes his learning seriously. He has a great heart and we know he will soar to success. Congratulations. From Rosedale in second grade, I have Jael Gordillo. Jael puts forth his best effort in everything he does. He has spent endless hours practicing his reading, resulting in his reading fluency increasing from 30 to over 70 words a minute. He's not afraid to ask clarifying questions and has a genuine interest in learning. He's always making connections between new learning and prior knowledge and personal experiences. He never gives up when something is difficult for him. He perseveres until he achieves success. Congratulations. From Santa Clarita, I have Bennett Warren in third grade. Bennett holds high expectations for himself. He will ask clarifying questions when he doesn't understand something, and he doesn't hesitate to raise his hand until he understands the content being taught. He's not afraid to make mistakes because he knows a mistake is a learning opportunity. Bennett is a hard worker and he truly believes in the power of effort. Bennett, your Bulldog family is very proud of you. You're the epitome of grit and you make us proud. Congratulations. From Sky Blue in fourth grade, I have Mia Juarez. Mia has demonstrated confidence through her work and shown determination to do well at all times. When the going gets tough, Mia finds her courage and perseveres through it. We are so proud of the growth she is making this school year. Congratulations. From Tesoro in 4th grade, I have Victoria Kays. Victoria has an amazing growth mindset. She uses graphic organizers with her writing and always works out all problems with her whiteboard and math. When she doesn't readily understand a concept, she asks for help and works diligently in small groups, whole groups, and independently until she fully understands the material. She knows the power of yet. She perseveres at everything she does. She perseveres at everything she does, whether it be schoolwork or dance competitions, which she does outside of school. We're so proud of all your achievements, Victoria. Congratulations. From West Creek, I have Nico Kamengig. Nico was a TK student who never gives up, no matter how challenging the task or how difficult the task may be. We're talking about you. He approaches everything with joy and enthusiasm. Nico truly puts his best foot forward and wants so eagerly to do his best. He's passionate about all he does and comes to school each day ready to be the best version of himself. Congratulations, Nico, on receiving the Grit Award. And with that, we're going to have a paparazzi moment. So for you guys up front, can you squish together a little bit? Get together, and we're going to stand behind you to take some pictures.
Slide down this way. Get shoulder to shoulder. We come in the picture. All right. Oh. Sit down, but the trustees would like to congratulate you as well.
They were up there the whole time, so I think.
You know, the board would like to congratulate the students. Ms. Grease?
Yes, I took a lot of good notes, some words that really stuck out. Doesn't shy away from challenges, obviously perseverance, adversity, being kind and respectful while doing so, problem solver. But I think the three that really stand out to me is asking questions, asking for help, and having the confidence to do so. I think those three things will get you guys far into experience winning this award in TK and K. I think that's amazing. Ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. That is my advice. It will get you a lot of information and learn about everything in the process. So congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations to all of our award winners. We're so proud of you. Grit is an awesome award to win. I think all of the adults in the room can tell you that no matter how hard you try and how much you learn and how good you get at something, life always has some other plan for you. And there's always going to be challenges and things that you face that maybe you're not as good at immediately, and it takes a lot of hard work. And if you just give up right away, where are you gonna go? So all of you guys are exemplary students and friends and kids to all of your peers and families to show them what hard work can really do, and facing those challenges and persevering through those challenges and working hard. We heard tonight that you're not only working hard in school, and I heard about reading and math and writing, but also in extracurriculars and other things that you love doing outside of school, and dance and ice skating, and at home with your families and your siblings. And all of those things are really wonderful and will get you so far in life. You don't even know yet, because some of you are up here and you're just maybe 4 or 5, and all the way through our 6th graders that are working on these skills. We're so proud of you, and it's something that we can learn from you when we watch you continuing to persevere and not be afraid to take on hard things. We can do hard things. So congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. Congratulations to all of our award winners. School sometimes is really easy and lots of fun, and other times it can be hard. And you guys all have the grit and determination to be successful no matter what the circumstances. That's why you're here. That's why you're getting awards. And parents, thank you for bringing your students here tonight, and thank you for raising such good kids.
Ms. Cooper?
Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Two definitions of grit are courage and resolve, and strength of character. And both of those things will benefit you throughout your lives. Congratulations on winning those awards, and also congratulations for having those attributes, because they will benefit you. Thanks.
Students, I just want to congratulate you as well. Steve Jobs once said that things that are worthwhile have a tendency of getting really, really hard. And that's when most folks give up, stop, and just quit moving forward. But those folks that are true great leaders continue to push forward. And that's what grit is. So I really want to congratulate you. That's an amazing character trait that you're developing. So congratulations again. I know some of the families want to take pictures, so we're going to go ahead and take about a 5-minute recess if you'd like to do that, and then we will continue.
the new boards. Elephant training is coming up in May, on May 3rd. We are hopeful that each of our site reps will attend with their site administrator and CSEA reps, so that we can continue to build positive leadership. This time of the year is always stressful, and learning to work together and hold difficult conversations is crucial. This is Every Kid Healthy Week. District-wide, our students are learning about health and nutrition and playing related PE games such as sugar and fat tag. Nutritional information is being sent home to our families, and the parent-teacher organizations are providing the students with bookmarks, stickers, erasers, pencils, and water bottles. Our teachers are also busy preparing for open house in May. This is an exciting time of the year to show off all of the learning they have done throughout the year. Finally, this time of the year is always a time we get to celebrate the hard work of our members. Friday, our teachers will be honored at the annual teacher tribute event. We would like to extend our congratulations to Sherry Ramsey from Cedar Creek, who was selected as Saugus's Teacher of the Year. Congratulations, Sherry. And next Monday, our unit will celebrate our Bargaining Chair, Michelle Malarkey, at the annual CTA Who Awards dinner. Michelle has been an invaluable member of our e-board, and we look forward to honoring all of the time and work she has done for our members during this past year. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a representative? Oh, do we have a representative from the California School Employee Association? No, okay. Saugus Administrators Association.
Board members, cabinet, and staff. I am Francina Aguilar, proud principal at Soil. I am speaking tonight on behalf of the Saugus Administrators Association. Congratulations to all of our great award recipients. April has snuck up on us, and May is just around the corner. It's actually a week away. The end of the year is coming, and all can feel it. It is this part of the year when it feels like that last 3 miles of a marathon ran a marathon. If it happens, just imagine. We see that finish line, but there's still so much effort and work to be done to ensure we successfully cross the finish line. So just like a marathon, we have prepared well with the proper training, the effective tools, dedicated coaches, and of course, the strong inspiration to get to this point of this marathon. Currently, all our schools are in full swing of test preparation. We know that to achieve success, we need deliberate practice. And so our students have been practicing how to write essays with text evidence, finding the best answers to questions, and determining which of the following does not belong. However, did you know that task preparation begins before students enter 3rd grade? In order to build the stamina required for state tests, we begin in primary grades and build our students' skill sets by providing opportunities to attend tasks for long periods of time and build test-taking strategies. State testing is about finding out how our systems work collectively. The scores are reflective of the education students receive kinder through 6th grade. It is also important to remember that it's only one measure of student learning. We are confident that our students will do well because of the dedication and support systems we have created for student learning throughout their educational experience. We will use this information in the future to continuously improve our practice and work to provide students with excellent education. Currently, as principal, We continue working on our single plans for student achievement. That's 42 instructions. Are outlining clear goals that are measurable and aligned to our district health outcomes. And we are also analyzing current data and creating action items that will help us reach the goals. There are many opportunities to shine in Saugus. And so many schools have submitted the American School application. We want to thank Samantha Ford for this important guidance through the process. This week, we celebrate Health Week with spirit days and reminders on how to make healthy choices. Our teachers are also teaching lessons aligned to Health Week every day this week. In addition, we are working on submitting applications for our PBIS recognition program. Mrs. Anya Nowakowski has been instrumental in assisting us through this process. We hope to continue recognizing our schools for the critical work we continue to do around behavior, expectations, and positive environment. We are also ramping up for some amazing celebrations. We look forward to celebrating our tribute honorees this Friday at College of Buchanan. Congratulations to all of the nominated at school. A special congratulations to Sherry Ramsey for being selected as the this year. We're fortunate to have her influence as a talented educator. Also, congratulations to all our classified employees who were recognized by their sites as classified employees. Their hard work and dedication are being appreciated and acknowledged. Lastly, during these busy times as educators, I would like to invite you to join me in a moment of pause. So before the end of the educational marathon comes to an end and we collapse with exhaustion, it's important to stop and reflect on our work, on our achievements, and our purpose. So in times of high stress, with state testing, open house, celebrations, and unexpected changes that the end of the year brings, it's important to remember to breathe. As we approach the finish line, the end of the school year, I invite you to look out for each other's well-being, to hold our hands with empathy and care, as we are all ultimately working to achieve the highest level of excellence for all of our students. Maya Angelou said, at the end of the day, people will not remember where you sat or what you did, but they will remember how you made them feel. So as we complete state testing, we celebrate our accomplishments at our open house and race towards that June 9th. May we hold each other up and carry each other to the end. May we offer each other boosts of confidence and remind each other of our humanity. May we be carried by our purpose and belief that together we can achieve more. Best of luck to all our runners in this educational marathon.
From the Child Development Program, Dr. Karen Fractor.
Good evening, board members, faculty, community. My name is Sarah, representing the Child Development Program tonight. Our after-school programs implement a curriculum that aligns with the California Department of Education's quality standards for expanded learning. Our expanded learning program plan that was approved this past June outlines how we, as a child development program, implement activities that support our students in developing leadership skills, honing their 21st century skills, understanding various ways to make healthy choices in mind and body, express themselves through voice and choice, experience values that embrace diversity and equity, and are part of a community where they feel safe and supported. As we continue to grow our program and enhance the experiences of our students, we understand the essential role that our activity leaders and the CDP leadership team play in delivering the program that our students deserve. As part of this process, we're creating professional development opportunities for our staff to learn relevant strategies in working with students, learning activities that engage students, and understanding the goals of our after-school and intercession programs. This past Saturday, we held one of our CDP professional development fun days. We had over 30 staff members give up 4 hours on a Saturday to engage in a variety of playful learning games, student scenarios, and reflection as a means to continue to provide a rich program. Our CDP leadership team led our staff in a variety of rotations focused on math and STEAM, including a giant Tetris game where teams had to work collaboratively to put human-sized Tetris pieces together to create a cube. It sounds a lot easier than they engaged in math bingo, where they played a variety of versions to support mathematical concepts for children in TK all the way to 6. Groups also engaged in some lessons from our SPARK after-school physical education program, and learned how to incorporate math and social emotional learning into the various games they played outside. The best part of the day was our staff got a chance to utilize all the new resources that are at the sites in order to support the implementation of our goals. Overall, the day was full of fun and learning. Some of the feedback we received from staff were as follows. I learned new ways to involve kids in learning math, and I also learned how to communicate more effectively and find new solutions when I'm stuck. I realized that we all learn differently, and I should allow more time for the certain activities that meet the needs of each of our students. I enjoyed playing the math ring toss game where we added large dice and talked about ways we could vary the activity to incorporate different levels of math skills based on the age of the student. I got to meet so many new coworkers. I've heard their names before, but never met them in person until today. Lastly, it was a super fun day. We look forward to our next CDP Fun Day, or PD, on Saturday, May 20th, where we will dive deeper into activities around literacy and STEAM. On a side note, we will be at the Santa Clarita Job Fair this Friday at College of the Canyon, so if you know anyone looking for a rewarding summer job as an activity leader or afternoon person around the program, please send them our way. Wishing you all a great end of April and a fabulous start to the year.
Thank you. And representing district parent leader organizations, school site council, or other district advisory groups, I believe we have from Tesoro del Valle PTA President, Ms. Jennifer Reza.
Is the volume on now? Like, because I was told that everything I said with the volume wasn't on online. So I'm just trying to make sure that everyone moving forward is online, because then basically everything I said wasn't heard by anyone except for the room.
We believe it's working now. It was
Now,
out.
but when did it start working? Not when I was speaking. I just think anyone who spoke prior to that should maybe speak again, because otherwise.
We can include your comments in the minutes if you'd like. That way they're there for in
Should I
perpetuity.
think about it for a minute, because I'm not sure like people online will read the minutes to speak on this.
Sure.
Versus hearing them speak.
It would be your guys' decision.
Ms. Cooper, were you able to hear the public comment section?
Or
No.
even- What about the?
No, I did
the-
not.
The STA or anyone after that, we should look into that.
When did it cut out and when did it come back? Can you tell us that?
It came back when Dr. Hawkins texted to ask me if it came back. So I heard the. Sorry.
Okay,
I
thank you.
heard, the Saugus Administrators Association.
Okay.
I did not hear anything before that.
I think it was off for 6 minutes.
Yes. it was out for 6.
7:03 to 7:09.
Okay, why don't we continue with Ms. Reza and then we'll discuss it. Thank you.
Good evening, board members. Tesoro PTA has been pretty busy since the last time I was here. We've done quite a few things for our community. We've been a very successful events that was attended by community members at our school. We danced the night away in neon below key wonderful. It was a lot of fun. We have held an international festival, the Tesoro tradition that was finally brought back, a much smaller scale. But the kids really enjoyed it. They enjoyed exploring all the cultures that we have at Tesoro. And we have lots planned for the rest of the school year. As Dr. Aguilar said, the marathon is in here and we are chugging along. We have quite a few things up. We're going to be celebrating all our stuff for South Asian Week. We're currently doing wars, which is one of my favorite fundraisers. Super fun, and I love hearing all the kids with all of their strategies. This a little boy came up and asked put together a poster. Because they have an alliance between fourth and sixth grade. They're not gonna bond. So I said, you go for it. It's super fun, you know, all. Super excited about that. An upcoming event that I'm really looking forward to is our things. This is our inaugural things, right? And we are really, really excited to bring this reevent to our community. We are bringing STEAM to life by providing students and families with the opportunity to explore science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. We'll have vendors on hand. We'll have different activities for Anderson, out of the box, a touch tank, add science. We are also going to have the Valencia drumline perform for our community, and then they will have instrument cutting, which will be incredible to explore. And our very own sixth grade teacher, Mr. Luke, is going to do a catapult activity. So families are going to build catapults and see if they're successful at launching them with nothing like rocks.
No fun.
So we're hoping to make this a yearly event that'll just grow bigger and bigger. And we are going to do our assemblies. We actually have math science coming out the day of open house. So another science opportunity for our kids. I'm hoping to get a jump rope assembly out before the end here. And last but not least, we are very excited to welcome our incoming executive board. This will be the first time in over 5 years that we have a full executive board with brand new faces. So we will be able to do so much, and we'll be able to welcome so many new parents, so many former parents to join us on the PTA next year. A really great year for our kids. And we will be celebrating all of the things that have been around for a long time and have helped us. So we're going to be taking out some awards at the end of the year to those things.
Thank you. So it sounds like the Zoom volume cut out during all or portions of 4 of our speakers previously this evening. The 2 public comments, as well as Ms. Bellinger and Ms. Aguilar representing STA and SAA respectively. How would my colleagues feel about giving them the opportunity to repeat what they had to say?
I'm fine with that. But if they don't want to, they can just submit their comments and they can become part of the minutes.
Certainly, we wouldn't require it, but we'll give the 4 of you the option. So Karen H., would you like to repeat your comments? I understand you're not feeling well. I appreciate it, and we apologize for the technical difficulties. Deanna, would you like to speak again? Okay, great, thanks.
I think we should figure out who else wants to go first.
Yeah.
If there are any of the other 2.
Right. Right, well, I will, once we
You will,
finish up with this.
Finishes
Oh,
with the public.
You could do that now.
Okay, before we get started, Ms. Bellinger and Ms. Aguilar, would you like to repeat your comments, or will you prefer to? Okay. Okay, terrific. Thank you very much. Ms. Dahl, would you take care of the timer, please?
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Certainly.
I think on behalf of teachers, Hi, my name is Sienna, and I am here tonight speaking on behalf of the teachers in the Saugus district. According to Dr. Hawkins, the number 1 goal in the Saugus school district is to facilitate systems and implement action projects that ensure the physical safety of school facilities and the emotional safety and well-being of students and staff within each facility. I am here because this goal is not being met. I am not here to be against you, but rather to be a voice for your teachers. Many of your teachers are overwhelmed, unhappy, and anxious, but most of all, they do not feel heard. They're afraid to speak in fear of retaliation. Here is a list of concerns for multiple teachers at multiple sites within Saugus. A contracted end time, IEPs, SSCs, and fire boards are increasing and all taking place after school. The teachers are not reimbursed for this time. Primary teachers can participate and get paid for intervention beginning right when they get out of school before upper grade is even released. Forced grade level changes, moving teachers from primary to upper and vice versa. Not enough resources. Social workers cannot fulfill all requests unless support is provided to teachers. Upper grade teachers especially want a universal dismissal time or an incentive for teaching more hours. A lot of this also is creating division, and it is before between your primary and your upper teachers. Upper grade teachers is obviously not something that you want. Multiple split level classes. No true consequences for student behavior. The ballet line at some of your sites is being run by teachers. They're saying it's 20 to 30 minutes per day extra time that they're doing that. In short, the list is continuously getting longer of teacher responsibilities and expectations, and support is not there. This is dramatically affecting teachers' emotional well-being. Currently, you are asking people to apply to Saugus, be teachers, to be part of the Saugus family, when the teachers do not perceive it to be a family. And these are the teachers that are there right now. Every goal for the district includes systems and actions, yet this is exactly what seems to be lacking. On a personal level, like I already shared, I'm very disheartened by the situation. I like Saugus, I like the district, but to hear teachers say this is very disheartening to me. I can only hope that you choose to take action and change these systems. I ask that you recognize that ultimately, if these things don't change, the students are the ones that will suffer. Your teachers are valuable. I believe they are the ones creating great schools. They matter, and above all, they need to feel heard. And that's why I'm here today. Thank you very much. Thank you for letting me go again.
Thank you for your patience. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. How'd we do, Ms. Cooper? Better that time?
Much better. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. We had amended the agenda this evening so that our students didn't need to wait around all night for us. So we're going to go ahead and move to the student presentation. Dr. Hawkins?
All right. Well, I'm really, really excited. We've been planning this for quite a while, and we've finally gotten it in there. Before I call up the students, I happened to be at North Park one day, and I was there for a completely different reason than what I wound up having. And as you might imagine, well, this is going to sound odd but I don't always hear the great things that are going on in the district. I tend to hear the things that aren't quite so positive. And so after a while, when you hear that, you start to believe, oh my gosh, what are we doing? How are we making a difference? What's happening with the kids? And I happened to be going up to talk to Mrs. Dalia, the principal at North Park, about a completely separate issue. And I stumbled upon her meeting with these 4 absolutely amazing kids. And she was having a meeting, like she was having a meeting with the board of directors, with the city council, and it was just incredible. And she asked me to come in, and I came in. I didn't say anything. They knew who I was. It was a Friday, so I was in my jeans. It was real cash, but they continued their meeting. And what was interesting was all the things I had gone in there to talk with Mrs. Dalia about, they were bringing up. And so I talked to the kids, and she talked to the kids, and we listened to the kids, and it was so wonderful to hear them, that they like renewed my hope that as we all age and retire into the world, that these amazing students are going to be in charge of the world. And I'm really excited about it. So they've been doing this work around their student services group, and we've had some listening sessions in addition to this one day that I got to see. So I'd asked them to come present, and between their spring breaks and my surgery recently and different things, it's taken us a few weeks to get it here. But first of all, they're amazing teachers who've helped them plan all of this. Diane Lindsay, Tracy Utz, and Caitlin Hatchett. I just have to hand it to you guys. I mean, when they spoke, they talked about how you build this in their class with all of your social emotional learning, and how that is part of who you are as a campus. And so you would have been so proud of them had you been there, but I know you've been working with them. I know you know what they can do. And so I just want to thank you for all of your efforts around there. I know you're not speaking tonight, but I know you're behind them all the way. So what I'd like to do is introduce to the board Owen Spencer, who's going to come up, Ido Rosenberg, who's going to come up, Alana Pollock, who's going to come up, and Kylie Antonio, who's going to come up. Okay, so who's going first? It's not attached to the piece. Their PowerPoint. It's not attached to the agenda so that you got it. That's why I asked you if you had it earlier. No? Yeah. You didn't get it either? Oh, how special for us. Can you guys send it to me? The teachers, any of the teachers? Do you guys have it? Send it to Mr. Heinlein, please.
So at this point in the meeting, we're going to talk amongst ourselves.
Yes, just a moment. Another technical difficulty. However, we can get it the fastest.
While we're doing this, we can take care of other important business. Did anybody get a final score on the Dodger game?
Mr. Heinlein, Nick Heinlein.
No one cares.
It's not.
According to Diane, she sent it to you
Just now.
before.
Oh. All right, because you were all on pins and needles, it sounds like the Dodgers staged a remarkable comeback and beat the Pirates
Did you send
8-7.
it? They sent it to you. The teachers
Yeah.
just did.
Not much of a pitcher's duel tonight.
Share it or send it?
And Heinlein, yes. There it is.
Don't make me go into the NBA playoffs.
There we go. There it is. Look familiar, guys? Yeah. All right.
Presenting at this point is to give you an insight about student service. We were fortunate enough to meet with our principal, Ms. Delita.
Mr. Watson, I can barely hear the kids. Can you tell them to get closer to the?
Is your mic on? Is the little green light? Yep.
Our purpose for presenting at this board meeting today is to give you an insight about student service. We were fortunate enough to meet with our principal, Ms. Delia, to address our concerns that came up in our sixth grade class meetings. After speaking with Ms. Delia, we were able to come up with an action plan with the student service members as well as our sixth grade class.
Some of our goals for North Park Student Service, to represent North Park and the students, to enhance school spirit, to focus on student issues and to come up with solutions, to collect data about students and concerns and needs, and to work as a team and to get everything done in a timely fashion.
This is a picture of us doing some of our projects just in the student service room. This is how students are chosen for student service. Different classes have different ways to choose students for student service. For example, some may elect or vote in a student service member with their class, or the teacher can personally pick someone who is safe, respectful, and responsible. Classes may have students give speeches about why they're good representatives for their class and present them to their fellow students.
And this is the process of determining student service projects. Certain class meetings will be held throughout North Park classes. Representatives will also go back to their classes to collect information on student opinions. These classes will be brought back to the main student service to discuss and solve issues around the school.
This is a photo of us doing team projects such as making posters. Some things we talk about are spirit days and how to address concerns on the playground. For example, we ask students if they feel that something can be improved on the art yard, and everyone is kind to one another. We encourage the student body, also known as student service, to be respectful of each other.
Some of our jobs and dates for one of the meetings. Meetings are usually on the first date of every month, first Thursday of every month. Spirit days determined by student service are on the last Friday of every month. Some of the jobs are library helpers, help with Mrs. Felt shelve the books. Recess and lunch helpers help set up the yard. Office helpers help pass out off items daily, 5 minutes before lunch and recess. And school-wide event helpers assist front office with big events.
These are some pictures of us doing the jobs, such as supervising kindergartners or answering, doing stuff at the office. Student service representatives can be in 4th, 5th, or 6th grade. Soon representatives will be assigned to primary classes. That means older grades will go into the classes and collect information on what students in the lower grades want from the school. Some students from student service meet with the principal from time to time to discuss issues in all grades. We also meet as a group to decide on spirit days for the school every single month. And this is a picture of student service for 4th through 6th. And on the Google slide, there's all of our student service members. Our student service advisors are Miss Lindsay. She teaches grade 6th. Miss Hatchett, she teaches grade 2nd. And Miss Utes, our teacher, teaches grade 6 also. Thank you to Miss Lindsay and Miss Hatchett for their help with student service.
Thank you for your time.
Well, as usual, they did an amazing job, and I'm sure that you guys all have questions, but this is so much more than a student council. They're really the leaders of the school, and they're really working to solve problems at the school. It's a model that I'd like to see us branch out with, but I thought it would be great for you guys to get to see them too.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for your presentation. If you wouldn't mind staying there, I'm sure my colleagues have a few questions, and then y'all can kind of decide amongst yourselves who's going to answer each one. Ms. Grace?
Not much of a question, but I have to say your guys' presentation skills are on point. Like, it is amazing.
I did a great job.
Yeah, so I know you guys are doing a great job, but excellent presentation today. I really appreciated the information. So thank you.
Thank you.
Now
Ms.
you
Love?
know why I was so impressed when I saw that today.
Ms. Love?
Thank you guys so much for that presentation. It was wonderful. All 4 of you are such excellent speakers. I'm very impressed. I would be nervous if I was you in front of all these people, and you did not look nervous at all. Such confidence. Great job. It didn't even show. I have one question for you. I would like to know what your favorite thing that you've done on student services has been this year.
Personally, my favorite thing that we've done on student service is just jobs we do around campus. This is, every week. It's not really about specific events, but just generally being in student service.
I have sort of the same answer. Just being a part of student service is fun.
I like doing our jobs and making posters for spirit days. And since I'm the vice president, I get to do Monday morning meetings, and I think that's really fun. I really like how we get to engage with all the other student service members and get to talk and help with posters.
Thank you so much for sharing. All of those things sound really important. And I think it's so wonderful that we have such great leaders at North Park for your peers to see you exemplify how to identify issues and solve them and work hard and work collaboratively with each other and the rest of the students. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Trunky.
Thank you guys so much for stepping up to be leaders, for the responsibilities you've taken on in your individual roles. It's a lot of extra time, it's a lot of extra work, but you are also great role models for your fellow students. And for that, we thank you.
Ms. Cooper.
So I don't know if you guys realize it, but I'm in Washington, D.C. doing federal advocacy, and I've heard a lot of speakers this week. And I got to say, you guys did a lot less than some of these professional speakers. So you are absolutely amazing. I'm truly impressed. I'm also impressed with your level of maturity, the fact that you enjoy doing the small jobs and you're just happy to be involved, and there's, you know, no glory in it for you. I mean, you guys are amazing, and you are government. I mean, you are what government is supposed to be. You're listening to your fellow students and you're trying to make it happen for them and for the betterment of the entire school. So keep it up. And I believe that my fellow board members will agree. Anything we can do to help you, we would gladly do.
Yeah, 100%. Congratulations on your presentation. Like my colleague said, very well done. I do have a couple of questions for you. So student services 4th through 6th grade. In what way do you include the younger students? Do you inform them about the events that are going on? Do you get their opinions on different things that are happening? How do you include the younger students?
Well, recently we have chosen the classrooms of the younger grades that 2 student service upper grade representatives will be assigned to then go to those classrooms and collect information on whatever they want for the school.
Great.
And really, the reason we don't have exact representatives for them is because they don't really know how to communicate as well. So we just go to them, collect the information, and bring it back.
Perfect. You're representing them and they're working on their leadership skills like you all have. Fantastic. I appreciate that that you're not only working on some of the issues that your schools might be having, but also helping develop a positive environment and do spirit days and fun activities like that. Now, when you do go back to your classmates and you get their input and ask them to share maybe concerns of theirs on the yard, things like that, do you feel that your classmates are comfortable enough to share what they're really feeling, what's really going on? I think you've got a colleague that wants to speak when you're done. Yeah.
Answer. A lot of them, because the fellow students feel like it's safer to share information with us than it is to say staff. You know, it's always nervous to share information about what's going on, things that need to be fixed, but it's more comfortable sharing information with students than it is with adults who, you know.
Oh, trust me, I know. Did you want to add something?
Want to add something. There's also just students who feel that they can't talk to anyone, and I feel like that's just I feel like that's wrong, and they should feel that they should talk to us and even the teachers too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Students, well, I feel like they're from our class, they're for sixth grade in general. I think they're all confident and they tell us any problems on the yard. I think they'll tell us every single problem.
All right, terrific. Thank you so much. Thank you for your leadership and thank you so much for your service to your school. That's an important part of leadership, is serving others. Really can't tell you how much we appreciate you. Thank you. Before you go, perhaps we should step in front of the dais here. We've got some certificates. So Owen, Ito, Kylie, and Alana, would you please step in front here? We've got something for you.
You guys go.
All right.
We'll stand in the back. We have certificates. Good job, you guys.
Thank you.
Mrs. Fractor, will you also take one, please? Dr. Fractor, I should say. Yes, and the teacher should come up. Thank you so much. They're amazing. Thank you. You guys did a great job. Yeah.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Should say thank you to the parents because you have great kids. So.
All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to superintendent and cabinet reports. We'll start with Mrs. Berries.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I know they all left, but I wanted to again congratulate our student grit awards. I know that the challenges that we've been faced with, and me personally, as you know, we talked about challenges, having that grit to persevere over things that are hard work pays off. The qualities that these students have tonight were really amazing. So I want to say thank you for that. I also wanted to thank the students who did the presentation on student services. I think it was just for me so refreshing and uplifting and inspiring to hear what these students are doing. And it is really in the purest form. I think Ms. Cooper, you talked about government, and when I see what these students are doing, they're truly volunteering their time to want to better their school, and to better their community. So thank you for sharing that presentation and finding them. Thank you to the teachers supporting them. I was watching the teachers' faces as they were presenting, and they were just so proud with joy. And I know that with all those student success, there's parent and teachers behind. So I wanted to say congratulations and thank you with appreciation to both of those tonight. In the student services, as many departments, we have had a busy month. I'd like to first share that May is National Foster Care Awareness Month and National Mental Health Awareness Month. We are going to be pushing some things out on social media about reducing the stigma of mental health. I know that is something that I've talked about, that we've talked about multiple times with happening with our students across the nation, across our district. So it's something that's very important topic to all of us. With our over break, we never stop learning. I want to say thank you, huge thank you to Darcy Quinn, who's the Director of Special Education and Student Services, and also Liz Hand and Andy Sheridan, because over spring break, when a lot of us are resting or breaking, they continued on. Our special day class paraprofessionals and our resource paraprofessionals, they did some Orton Gillingham, and I can't say fully trained, but strategies. And we had over 25 people join us over spring break to continue their learning to support students. So that's amazing. And then this week, we have bought morphology kits with Orton Gillingham. And if you don't know, it is one of the gold standard strategies for students with dyslexia and who are struggling with reading. We're very fortunate to bring that training district-wide. We got some kits for them and their paraprofessionals, and that's being rolled out this Wednesday. So, you know, we like that new stuff, the good stuff. So I'm excited about that. The last thing I want to share about tonight is, I think Dr. Hawkins mentioned this a couple times, but we're going to be launching the first series of we're calling them Learn and Listen with PBIS and Discipline. That has been a topic that we've shared here at the board meeting, and we are seeing that in our schools. So May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, we have sessions that anybody can join. There'll be live sessions at, let's see if I can get this right, at Helmers, and I'm sorry, I'm on the spot.
Bridgeport. And
Thank you.
Sky Blue.
Thank you.
May 1st is at 5 p.m. at Bridgeport. May 2nd is at Helmers at 5 p.m. And May 3rd is at 8 a.m. at Sky Blue.
Thank you. And it will also be, I don't have my calendar in front of me. There'll also be a virtual link for those people that can't join us. We've also then added 2 additional sessions for people that can't join us next week. I've secured Plum Canyon. Thank you so much on May 17th and hoping to secure the second site on May 18th during the day. So trying to have a variety of times and ways for people to participate, and that information that we're gathering, we will be sharing at our board presentation towards the end of May. And that's all I have. I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Clement.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm going to springboard off the morphology magic, as it's called, that training that Liz and Andy was working on with special ed, something that they've had a great success with already, and that they're going to take that and roll it out to our intervention teams as well, so that we have some other folks that are trained. And then that'll be something that we add into our training, I'm sure, as we look into the fall. Coming back. So if that was something that perked your interest, we have a lot of folks doing a lot of work in morphology and doing a lot of work with literacy in general. So it's part of that initiative, and we'll look forward to more of that coming. I just wanted to thank the parents of the kids who spoke today, because obviously those kids come from homes where they're have good role models, and it's just good to see our community come together and to hear the different points of view of the kids. It does make you feel good about getting older and retiring, even though I'm a little bit further down the road than some people. That was not a dig. That did sound like one. And the other thing I just wanted to touch base on is to wish everybody a successful testing season, as today really is one of the first major days of testing, but different grade levels and different groups of students will be testing throughout the next couple of weeks. So we appreciate all their hard work and all their effort to do their very best and to represent themselves and our school district to the best of our abilities. So with that, I'll save everything else for this evening, because you're going to hear a lot about our plans and accountability and different components of that, both in the presentation and in some of the board policies that are coming up tonight. So thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Stevenson.
All right. Well, as usual, we're in the middle of hiring frenzy. But as Dr. Fractor mentioned, we're participating in the Santa Clarita Valley Job Fair on this coming Friday. We'll have people there from CDP and also from recruiting classified staff. So anyone out there knows anyone that wants a job either in CDP or classified staff, come on over to the job fair. And then we're excited to have our second labor management initiative meeting next Wednesday on May 3rd to continue working on building those relationships and effective problem solving between labor and management.
Mr. Heinlein.
Good evening. At the last board meeting, the board approved us moving forward refinancing 2 of our CFD bonds, and part of that process included a new rating from S&P. Well, today we got the info that the rating was higher than we expected, which means a lower rate, which means more savings, not only for us, but also for the taxpayers as well. So we're really happy about that, and that I have to end on a positive note. So that'll be my only.
That is fantastic news. Thank you. Dr. Hawkins.
Well, you've heard from all of the amazing staff members and all of the different projects that they're working on, but we are at that time of year where we gather data around connectedness. And we do this every year as part of our LCAP process and our school site plan process, and very excited to see our parent data. We strive every year to increase the percentage of parents who respond to that data. And we're right around 29% our student enrollment. So we're really excited about that information. We have put a lot of efforts forward this year into social emotional learning and mental health and our multi-tiered systems of support, which provides a variety of programs for students. And we've seen about a 6% in each area that was asked about that in agreement with the work that we've done. So that was really positive. We still see some challenge with our discipline areas and our bullying areas. Those were questions 7, 9, and 10. We saw a tremendous increase in all of those areas, but what we're still not seeing is we're not seeing that 75% or higher approval. And that's not enough. And so we've been, as Mrs. Berry said, working on some things around discipline and getting some awareness out there and some more information out there. But most importantly, after having that opportunity to talk with the kids, I'm doing the listening sessions. And so I'm really looking forward to the June 6th board meeting where we will present the data that I gather from doing those listening sessions with all 15 schools and their students. In addition, I've been making appointments and talking with some of the individual parents because I think as a nation, we have a really huge challenge with how we speak to one another, what we call one another. And our kids are dealing with that every single day on the playground, before school, after school, and even during their class time. I know our teachers are working very hard to deal with it. I know our principals are working very hard to deal with it. I know our parents are working very hard to deal with it. So we have to figure this out and we have to make it stop. And I look forward to working on that, because when we look at this sort of data, you always want to see improvement in the places where you've made a lot of effort, right? And I think in a lot of these areas, we've made a lot of effort this year. And so we saw increases ranging from 2% to 9% approval ratings, increased in the approval ratings. And so we're going to continue plugging away at it because how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. And that's how we're going to do it. So thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to board reports. Ms. Grease.
Along those same lines, I just want to thank those within our community that have either reached out through email or spoken at various public sessions regarding various behavioral concerns that we're having at multiple school sites. It takes a lot of bravery to speak up in public and topics that are really hard, but we cannot affect change if people aren't speaking up. So please continue to reach out because it is really making a difference. We are having those conversations and it takes all of you to really bring some of that stuff to light. So I appreciate it. Like Dr. Hawkins mentioned, we have our upcoming May 23rd meeting that is geared towards school discipline and positive behavioral interventions and supports. I am really encouraged and kind of excited to have these conversations as a board, to have meaningful conversations and just to bring it up and just talk about it. So I am really looking forward to those meetings and that data that everyone is working so hard to gather. So I just wanted to bring that up. Appreciate the time that Rosedale North and South and Emblem took out of their day to provide myself and Miss Love a school tour. I don't believe I've ever been to those school sites, so thank you for taking time out of your day. I'm excited to attend teacher tribute on Friday. Teachers are kind of everything, obviously, to all of us. They do a lot, and I'm just really excited to celebrate all those teachers that were recognized at each of the school sites, including our 2023 Teacher of the Year. I know it takes a lot. Personally, my child has been a student of one of those Teacher of the Years, and I think that it is just a blessing, and we have learned so much just during that experience. So I'm just forever grateful for those kind of opportunities. So that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Love.
Good evening. First, I want to say that I'm not sure that I'm confident enough to give a board report after what fabulous student speakers we had tonight. They really did a wonderful job, and I was so excited to hear them speak. We've been waiting for them to come, and they really did fabulously. And I'm excited for us to hopefully expand that student services platform and program to other campuses. I think it's a really wonderful tool to allow the students to be able to have a voice in sort of their own campus and with their own classmates and teach those leadership skills and all of that. It makes a huge difference, I think, with accountability and just connecting with their schools. So that was wonderful. I also want to again say congratulations to our Grit Award winners. fabulous job from them tonight. And a huge congratulations to our Teacher of the Year award winner, Miss Ramsey from Cedar Creek. As Ms. Grease and several others have shared, I mean, what would we do without our teachers? I think all of us are up here because of our teachers. All of our kids are educated because of our teachers. So I'm so glad that we're able to recognize all the nominees, but especially our Teacher of the Year. And then, as Ms. Grease was just saying, we, over the last 2 weeks, were able to go to a couple more schools. I also hadn't been to those campuses before, so it was really wonderful to walk the campuses. It's always great to see what's really going on in the classrooms, see the teachers instructing. We were able to see some of our new math instruction, some phonics instruction, some really great SEL lessons going on in the classrooms that we went into, a lot of student engagement, students speaking up in class, really students on task and doing work that was more advanced than I anticipated seeing before I walked in, which was really great to see. And so it's always just really inspiring when we get to have the time to do those site visits. And thank you to Dr. Stevenson and Mr. Clement for accompanying us on those trips in the last couple weeks. While we were there, we also got to see some bigger school-wide projects that kids were working on, which are also really fun to see. They were doing sort of school-wide project regarding disability awareness that we got to participate in. We painted some rocks. But we don't want to look at mine. I'm not really a painter, but it was fun. And some other appreciation things that they were doing going on too, which I think lends itself to our conversations about kindness, teaching our students about kindness. They were working on some projects to thank volunteers at the school, PTA, staff, admin. So that was really wonderful to see. And that's it for me today.
Thank you, Mr. Trunky.
Good evening, everyone, again. First off, congratulations to our Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Ramsey. Also, congratulations again to our Grit Award winners. And Dr. Hawkins, thank you for inviting that incredible group of North Park student leaders to come speak to us. The work that they are doing is pretty amazing. And congratulations to them for such a great presentation. That's it for me.
All right, fantastic. Ms. Cooper.
Good evening. As you know, I'm coming to you live from Washington, D.C. So learned a lot this week. We heard from Dr. James Lang, the Acting Assistant Secretary, Office of Elementary and Secondary Education. We heard from Xavier Becerra, Secretary of Department of Health and Human Services. We also heard from the admin of USDA Food and Nutrition Services, Cindy Long. There's a lot of good programs and bills coming down the pike. Hopefully they pass. There was also a lot of discussion about how to properly compensate teachers and to retain teachers and to encourage more people to become teachers. So very excited. Tomorrow's the last day, so I'll have more to report at the next board meeting. Congratulations again to our Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Ramsey. And I can't tell you how excited I was to see those kids tonight. I mean, they're just incredible and amazing. And if that's our future, we're going to be okay. And I'm just sorry that I wasn't there live. But that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, you missed a good one. Thank you for joining us remotely, though. We appreciate it. Good evening. I'd like to once again congratulate our award winners as well, our Grit Award winners, and also congratulate Sherry Ramsey, our district's Teacher of the Year. Last week, I attended the LA County School Trustees Association meeting in lieu of our Santa Clarita Valley Trustees Association. Those meetings often do cross, and so I've got to flip a coin. But I did attend the LACSA meeting where we discussed nurturing the next generation of climate leaders through climate curriculum and action. Previously, you, my colleagues, supported my application to the board of LACSA, so I figured I should probably attend. Again, I thank you and want to inform you that after reviewing my application and interviewing all the applicants, the executive board decided to endorse me, and the election will take place next meeting. On behalf of you all, I'll be voting for myself. I'd also like to address one of our speakers earlier this evening, Deanna, in regards to the staff concerns that she presented. while I don't want to overstep, I do believe that I speak for my colleagues when I say that we believe that while it might be uncomfortable, they can always bring their concerns to their school's leadership. Should their concerns not be adequately addressed, they can bring them to district staff, up to and including Dr. Hawkins. And we as a board are always open and would love to hear their thoughts and concerns here at our meetings. We appreciate their invaluable service to our students and their families. And indeed, they are the hands and hearts, the eyes and ears, the X's and O's, and the ABCs of our district. So we definitely want to hear from them as much and as often as possible. So again, thank you all. Oh, yeah, it's me, huh? Let's move on to the consent calendar. Are there any items from the consent calendar that need to be removed?
Well, I don't know if it's.
Well, let's discuss.
If you want to make the changes that we talked about, you have to remove the item and then we can.
Right. Okay. I would like to remove an item from the consent calendar then.
Okay, which item?
It is, I'm sorry.
It's H2.
H2, right?
Yep.
Item H2, conduct the second reading of the board policies and administrative regulations 0000, philosophy, goals, objectives, and comprehensive plans.
And specifically only 0100 philosophy, none of the other ones I would like removed.
Okay, so removing that item, do we discuss that now or do we?
You can, yes.
Okay, so who would like to start?
I will make a motion to approve the item that was removed.
Okay, so that would be board policy 0100. I will second the motion. All right. Ms. Grace, did you want to share? Or do you
Yeah,
want to speak to it?
sorry, I'm trying to go all the way down.
I'm sorry,
past-
what did Mr. Trunky just say?
He moved to approve the board policy in question.
But I
H2.
don't know that she wants to approve it. I think
I
you
don't
wanted
want
to
to
discuss
approve it. I
it.
want to.
We have to have a motion on the table
Okay.
with a second to be able to discuss it.
I got you, but
We'll
okay. I'll-
change the
I'll be quiet.
motion once we agree on any revisions.
All right.
Okay. The one thing that I wanted to add, as a complement to the 19 bullet points is something that is just a little bit more specific around, safety for our students, staff, and teachers and visitors. It's in, so point number 6, it says a safe, nurturing environment and positive school climate are necessary for learning, academic achievement, and student development. I would love to maybe add a separate bullet that really just focuses on the safety. And what I had said, what I wrote down as notes were, students, staff, teachers, and visitors in our schools are provided a safe and secure learning environment for all, where children can learn and grow without fear of violence, bullying, and other forms of harm. Ensuring school safety can help prevent physical and emotional trauma for students.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Would you want us then to remove the safe word from 6 so that it pushes that issue of that 7 is its own?
Yeah, so then it starts.
So it could
with
just be a
the
nurturing environment and positive school climate are necessary for learning. And then
Yeah.
you would have the 7th one.
Yeah.
And we would renumber them.
Yeah.
Would that be, is
Yeah,
that what you're looking
and
for?
I'm happy if somebody wants to wordsmith that. If it's a little long, I'm fine, but that was just my.
So could I make a suggestion for this? Because I know, part of being a board member is looking at a huge volume of information every 2 weeks and reading through it. And so board members are always asked to look at that and ask any questions. And then we try to provide answers to them so that then they can ask them and participate in public. And so I know I've gotten this, I don't want anybody to think that like Mrs. Grace and I are talking, just Mrs. Grace and I know about this. And we've been working on how we move forward with it. So would it be okay if we put what you sent me on the item?
Yep.
And bring it back for a 3rd read and approval, then you all can see it. And if you want to wordsmith it at that point, then you can wordsmith it there where you see it.
That makes sense to me.
It
Works
makes
for me.
sense, except for that I'm concerned that if we do it that way, we will be continuing to re-add this item to the agenda.
It will add it multiple times, but if we add it for approval as an action item rather than as a consent item, we can take care of it and it can be for approval as amended at that time. So then it won't have to come back again,
Even if we have changes.
even if you have changes.
Got it.
Because
Okay.
I would
I agree, by
anticipate
the
you
way.
would have very minor,
I know.
I would anticipate when you see it in writing, you'll have very minor changes.
Yeah.
That's why I'm.
Okay. Okay, great.
I'd like to
I was
only
just-
bring it back the one time because we do have, just for the public, we have a two-step process. We bring it for a first read and information. And then we bring it on consent for approval, which means any discussion that we've had has been revised into it.
Okay.
But understanding that reading policies, sometimes you read them a second time and you think of something and it comes up. So it's not often, but it's important that we go through that process. So I think it's not, it won't be on over and over and over again. I don't think it'll, at least I don't think so, unless you guys have a party with the wordsmithing, but I don't think you will.
So it's going to come back as a
It'll come back as
regular
a-
agenda item
Yeah,
for third read,
for third read and approval combination. And so you guys can make some
but
adjustments,
not on the consent calendar.
but not on the consent calendar. It'll come back as an action
And
item.
I withdraw my motion.
But you need a motion to approve the rest of the items.
Well, so do we need a motion to table this and ask for it to come back as a third reading?
This particular one, yes, but you can approve the other ones because they're not making any changes to it.
We don't, I just withdrew the motion, so there's no motion on the table.
Can you make any?
Okay, so would
We
someone
don't
like,
need to make a motion to bring it back for a third read.
right,
Now
but
we
would
can make a
someone like to
motion
move
to
to approve this?
the rest of the consent calendar.
Thank you.
That's the next item on the agenda.
I'm gonna let you
Correct.
guys work that out.
All right.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that would mean I would bring back all of the zeros that are on there or just the 100 by the way you're making that change.
I think we only removed 100.
We only,
Okay, then I just want to make sure we're going through all of the steps the way we're supposed to.
So we can vote on the rest of it
Okay.
if you want to approve, or we can do it all at once.
I thought she was
when we bring
moving,
it back.
I thought she removed 2H. 2H altogether is not just one item. There's multiple policies there. So
so my
the
motion
motion
was only to address board policy 0100 within H2 to remove, revisit, but approve the rest that is included within H2.
I like that motion. Long, but it's clear.
I'll second it. Good Lord.
Okay, so,
So now then you guys could vote on that one.
all right,
Then we can do the consent calendar.
so we have a motion.
We
to-
only removed, we only removed the
This is a
one
very moving
section.
meeting.
So all we have to do now is approve the consent
consent
calendar,
calendar.
and it approves
And it's
everything,
fine?
but
Okay.
yes.
Okay. I just don't want our policies to not be properly approved, but since you're the senior
Ranking member. of
ranking
this,
governance board person, we'll take
more
you.
than all of us.
I miss.
So
miss
at this
Dr.
point, I
Coe.
would entertain a motion to approve the rest of the consent calendar minus board policy 0100 in item H2.
So moved.
Second,
All right,
Who
all in
moved?
favor?
Aye.
Can I did have
Aye.
something I wanted to say though. So sorry. Can I
Please.
Say it.
Who moved? Okay, sorry.
Sandra did. I had a very nice discussion with Mr. Heinlein today because I had a very spirited email exchange regarding the preferred glass and window contracts for all of the schools. So I just wanted to say, I definitely, I approve the contracts. I do know, I'm happy that there are some additional questions that I do have regarding what the contract is. And I know that Mr. Heinlein is going back and doing some additional research, but
We are.
approve the contract.
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, so one more time, all in favor of approving the consent calendar as amended?
aye.
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 All right, and the consent calendar has been approved as amended. Thank
And
you.
amended.
All right. Let's move on to item 4B, California Comprehensive Support and Improvement Presentation.
All right. So as Mr. Heinlein pulls that up for us and my folks come from afar, you're gonna notice this evening that the presentation coming from my department really is a joint effort. And the overlap really comes from when we look at the single plans that we're writing that Dr. Fractor is involved with, to the curriculum side of things that Mrs. Mann is involved with, and then our school site specifically that Mrs. Rudder is involved with that we're going to hear from. It's definitely a group effort. So I'm going to turn it over to our fabulous team up here, and we'll learn a little bit about this year's version of comprehensive support and improvement. And I say this year's version because it's specific to this year, coming off of the pandemic. We've got some newly implemented temporary rules that make it very clear and muddy at the same time.
Thank you, Mr. Clement. My name is Mary Mann. I'm the Director of Curriculum and Instruction with the Ed Services Department. And next to me is Mrs. Jamie Rudder. She's the principal first year at James Foster Elementary School. So we are here tonight to discuss the California Comprehensive School and Improvement status. I think there's a little bit out of order there. We can go to the dashboard. If you look at the, that's okay.
Right.
Next one. Okay, so in this presentation, it's based on the California dashboard, and the California dashboard has indicators. If you remember the last time we discussed data and state data, we talked about the dashboard and indicators. So schools are eligible for improvement if, in fact, one or more of the student groups meets the following criteria. If all indicators are in the lowest level, or if all but one are in the lowest level. And a student group is defined as having an indicator on the dashboard if there are 30 or more students in that student group.
So one of the words we're going to hear tonight is the word eligible, which makes it sound like you won something, right? You're eligible for this, you won, yay! But it's actually really determining that you're eligible or you are up for assistance.
Identified.
Right. So that's some of the language you're going to hear can be a little bit backwards to what we're used to using, but just wanted to make that clarification. Okay, go ahead, Nick.
So we discussed student groups, and there are various student groups that have indicators on this dashboard, and those student groups are identified as race and ethnicity, homeless, English learners, foster youth, students with disabilities, or socioeconomically disadvantaged students. And those student groups are tracked both in the CASP and also on suspension rates and absenteeism rates. Okay, so as we started out the presentation with California Comprehensive Support and Improvement, there are two identifiers or two status identifiers as outlined by the state. One is the Comprehensive Support and Intervention, or CSI. CSI is the eligibility status for Title I schools, and that is the status for improvement. Happy to report that there are 0 Saugus Union schools in CSI, or the Comprehensive Support and Intervention status. The second one is the Additional Targeted Support and Intervention, ATSI, which is the identifier for all other schools. And we have one Saugus school that has been identified for ATSI, and that is James Foster.
So one of the things I'm going to add on this slide today, when you look at the comprehensive support and intervention, the CSI, you're looking at Title I sites throughout the state. And the schools that fell into this category are those 5%. I don't want to say the bottom 5%, but the the 5% with the highest instructional or academic needs or areas of the dashboard where they struggled. The rest of those Title I schools, even though they could qualify for CSI, were placed in ATSI along with any other site that had any kind of indicator like our one site did. So we'll go through a little bit about what that means here in the next couple slides.
So looking at the ATSI identification in 2023, CSI or ATSI information and actions were released in the spring, winter of 2023. The state indicated that the determination was going to be based on just 1 year of dashboard indicators. In the past, we have had a trend and looked at 3 years worth of dashboard indicators. But due to COVID and no CASP testing, we used 1 year at the state level. Schools were eligible for ATSI as shown on the previous slide if all indicators were at the lowest status level or if all but one indicator was at the lowest level. So James Foster was identified as ATSI because the indicator, chronic absenteeism, for just one student group, or any of the others, was in the lowest status level. So chronic absenteeism. The other indicator was suspension, which was near 0%. So as I've stated, when we look at James Foster more deeply and their identification as ATSI status for just the subgroup 2 or more races, we can see that 2 indicators were reportable on the dashboard. Those 2 indicators were suspension rate and chronic absenteeism. At James Foster school-wide, the suspension rate was 0.02%, and school-wide, the chronic absenteeism was 15.5%. At James Foster, 39 students school-wide in grades TK through 6 are in the student group 2 or more races. However, when it came to CASP testing, the state testing, California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress, 16 students were assessed using that measure in the student group 2 or more races. So James Foster had met the ATSI eligibility, was identified as ATI status based on the chronic absentee indicator for the student group 2 or more races. The chronic absentee for 2 or more races was at 20.5%, and the suspension rate was 0%. So all but one indicator was in the lowest report.
So you're going to see the information in the middle of the slide is more current, and that 20.5% was the total that was identified on the state dashboard.
So as outlined by the state, there are requirements for James Foster once it has been identified as ATSI status. And those requirements are to look at and perform a needs assessment. All 15 of our schools perform needs assessment when creating their SPSA or single plan for student achievement. So what's happening is we're looking at the data and looking for the needs that exist at James Foster Elementary School. The SPSA, the single plan for student achievement, along with the process that is taking place as we speak, will be reviewed and revised. Student performance will be assessed and looked at. Goal setting will take place. We'll identify interventions that are evidence-based. We'll take a look at and identify possible resources to allocate to improve chronic absenteeism, specifically make goals and actions in the student group 2 or more races as it relates to their attendance level. SPSAs, or single plans for student achievement, are always approved at the site level by the school site council and at the district level. And they are implemented during the 2023 and 2024 school year.
So this is an area that's really validating, because when we look at what our process is and our requirements for this, I want to call it program improvement because that's the verbiage we were used to prior. But this is work that we're already doing with all of our sites and all of our plans. And in recent weeks, they've been coming down and meeting with Dr. Fractor and meeting with each other as they're creating common goals and aligning their goals specifically to their data, so that they might make those improvement efforts and implement those programs. And these are items that are specific to each school, but yet we share a common ground with. So that's something that we had in place already that we would have been working on already. And it meets our requirement for improvement for this. Go ahead, Nick.
Thank you. Now I'd like to ask Mrs. Rudder to come to the podium to talk about some of the really truly impactful actions that are already taking place at James Foster to affect a positive impact on chronic absenteeism, specifically in the student group 2 or more races. Ms. Rudder?
Thank you, Mary. So as Mary shared with you guys, we already had a chronic absenteeism issue at 15.5% for our whole student body. That's pretty high. And then when we got the news that with our 2 or more races group was 20%, that's a significant portion of our population. So we knew as a school site, we really needed to do something about attendance. So I have to say that I owe everything to the staff, the teachers, our classified staff, because all of the ideas that we have come up with, they have implemented with enthusiasm, and our students are really responding. So Mary Mann's going to be my Vanna White, and she's going to show you some of our really cool things. So here first we have weekly incentives that we do each week, and the top class gets the top class trophy. And they get that trophy for the week. It is based on their weekly attendance rate for the previous week. They also get an additional SOAR ticket, which is our PBIS ticket system, and an extra recess, which is very popular for the students. And then we also, the grade level that has the highest weekly attendance percentage for the previous week gets an additional SOAR ticket. So we're tying it into our PBIS program as well. And then these 2 fellows are our most popular thing on campus. This is James and Foster Falcon. They are beloved on our campus. Our parents even designed these bow ties. And on the back, it has their names, James and Foster. And for me, so I do a daily announcement every morning, and I announce the students who have, at first it started with the highest daily attendance percentage. And we had to calculate it, and it took a while. Now it's just perfect attendance. And if we have less than 5 classes with perfect attendance, it's kind of like an aha moment for the students. They're like, we need to get our classmates to class. So it is really, really taken off. They love them. It's always like they soar into the classroom, they take a little field trip, and they have an itinerary each day. So if we have multiple classrooms with the 2 Falcons, then they share the Falcon for that day. And our teachers do an amazing job. I mean, we enter the Falcons with enthusiasm. The teachers take it, they take pictures with them. The Falcons get to go around and spend some time with the students. And it's very, very powerful. It's amazing how powerful those two little guys are. And for me, it was the deciding factor for me in terms of these Falcons was, it was the day after I think we returned from winter break, and it was a really busy day. And I had forgotten to do the announcement. And I had a sixth grader come up to me and say, Mrs. Rudder, who got James today? And I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot. And I just thought, here is a 12-year-old student who is appreciating the Falcon soaring into their classroom. Like, our students have such a need to be recognized for being in school, and they so appreciate just a little kind gesture like that. So that is our most popular. We also have, we've conducted parent meetings for various families that are needing additional supports with attendance. Thank you to our SST office, who has organized a lot of special things and interventions and supports for our students who really are facing some unique circumstances. We follow the procedure of sending the attendance letters out. We monitor and track our chronic absenteeism students. So what we found is that if we wait too long to clear the absence or to connect with the family, then it's hard to get the student to come to school, because sometimes parents aren't sure. They're not sure if the student should be coming because maybe there's an allergy symptom or something like that. So what we do is our office calls all of the students on the chronic absenteeism list and connects with them right away. And then we get a lot of students to come in late. And because some of our parents will say, oh, we have a doctor's appointment at 10, and then the office says, bring them on in, they can get that 60 minutes of instructional time. And so just starting that dialogue and teaching some of our parents some of the different avenues that they could take advantage of with our independent study contracts and things like that has really made a huge difference at our school site. And then we just engage. It's been a constant conversation since the very first site council meeting, PTA meeting. And so we engage our educational partners. I have PTA members sending me ideas constantly. Our site council talks about it a lot. They have shared some really great ideas in terms of how we can support students going forward. We have had attendance challenges when we know it's a tricky time period around winter break or spring break. Well, we will hold an attendance challenge where if a student gets perfect attendance for that week, they get entered into a raffle. This last time we did a random drawing for 2 of our students and they had to be present for it. That was an additional layer that the students didn't expect. So keeping them surprised has been really instrumental. And then just making sure that we're aligning our action items and some of the programs that we're rolling out at our school site, tying it to attendance. We piloted a coding program with our 6th grade classes, and I'm happy to report that it did have, and we had an increase in 64% of attendance during that time period. Thank you to our 20th century TOSA, Maria Winslade. And so we're piloting some programs, seeing what the effects are on attendance. And I would say we're having great success. I think Mary's going to talk about our current rate soon, correct? So we're moving in the right direction, but I cannot thank Mary Mann and Karen Fractor enough for their support in like Ed was saying with writing the SIPSA and really working with me. I've learned a lot throughout this process, a lot of new acronyms I never knew existed in education. But I feel like we're moving in the right direction, and what we're doing for our student group of 2 or more races is just really benefiting our whole entire student population. So thank you.
So just as you go to the next slide, I just want to add, when we look at what the staff is doing for attendance and also what they're doing for programs such as iReady, it's really in the culture that the staff is creating for the students at the site, because those staff members are so all in on things like this. I speak specifically to what they've done around iReady and their usage, and then is how they're rallying around this chronic absenteeism. Their students are day by day enthralled and deep into the process, regardless of reward, because their teachers care about it so much, and it's become their version of a virus that's infiltrated their culture in a good way. So I just want to thank your leadership and your teachers' leadership, because it's really taken that combined effort to reach the kids and the families, and it's been great. So with that, I'm going to end on the last slide here, talking about the exit criteria. And you'll notice on the slide that it talks about 0.1%, or basically any improvement in this area would deem that they could exit. So although we can't make a claim that they have exited, we can look at today or whenever we updated the slide, because it keeps changing every day based on the data really. But if we looked at their chronic absenteeism as of today, you can see that there's a 9% reduction, which is way more than 0.1%. So in this current snapshot, they would be exiting. Nick, last slide. And then this is just a slide. Probably you're familiar if you can remember back into the past, but our typical model when we're looking at the California dashboard are going to have these growth indicators. You can see the status level down the left side, and then you can see whether there was a change or not across the top. And you want your school or district to be listed in one of the green or blue areas. And then the various levels of yellow and then orange and red, depending on the growth and the academic or the achievement level of each subgroup. So we'll be going back to this model when we come back to look at our scores and we start to look at our growth in the future. That's the prediction. And with that, we will take questions.
All right, Ms. Grease.
Really, the only question I have is on the exit criteria. Is there a certain amount of time that you have to show the improvement to stay exited? Or can you fall back onto the list?
You technically, year by year, they're going to look at all the indicators on the dashboard. So it's typically, though, been a growth model where there's time involved. This was a 1 year, one-time snapshot that they only used the 1 year's data. But technically, you could exit out and then be re-identified.
Yeah, okay. Okay. And then the only other, it's not really a question, but it sounds like at your school specifically, you mentioned the teachers are all in, right, on this program, and you're changing the culture, and just seems very, everyone's really enthusiastic about, increasing attendance. I just wonder if there's some of those ideas or thoughts that might be applied to other areas that we're also trying to improve, just ways of working and just feedback that we might be able to gather from what you guys are doing at Foster's or other school sites that are trying to increase their attendance. They're just, I don't know, might be some learnings there that we could pull.
So one of the things that Mr. Clement does at the admin meetings is they do a lot of sharing, but I meet with 5 of the principals every month, once a month individually, and we do exactly that. So we talk about the data increases live and what's been happening and what sorts of program things that they're doing, and they're sharing that. And that process started a while ago. I think it started out of desperation with the pandemic in what we were doing and how we would share things. And then we just kept it going as a way for us to connect and really talk about those goals and where we were and those sorts of things. Foster has moved this year from being in the bottom half of the ranking to consistently being the median. But that happened through a lot of meetings, a lot of sharing, a lot of them taking ideas from other schools that we gathered, that she gathered, and then sharing it. So yes, we do that with everything. We're very collaborative group that way.
And I'm going to add, when we were on Rosedale's campus a few weeks ago and we saw the giant giraffe go giraffing by, that's a word, but I'd go giraffing. But that's all a sign of the same type of collaboration. And I think Mrs. Bellina told us a story about when she heard about this from one of the other principals and decided she was going to try it and how crazy it went there. And I know somebody's got some mountain lions that she's working at her chronic absenteeism, and we've got some
they've become quite
panthers, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
So it's a pure example of exactly what you're saying, I think.
Well, Rio Vista started it. If you look in the back on the wall, there's a picture of Artie, the attendance giraffe, and he was the start of it. Then I think Rosedale was the next person, and we saw Artie in one of those meetings, and I'm like, how did Artie go from Rio to Rosedale? They started buying them, and then all of a sudden they all started buying them, including Foster, who didn't believe that those would be positive moves.
Yeah, I was very skeptical.
She was very skeptical.
No way. I totally believe it.
She did not, she was like,
Anything
none
like
with
stuff.
this positive stuff. And now she's like up in the middle every week.
I need to get a night for North Park.
Yeah, well, and North Park has been a school that has been doing an amazing job all year and has been at that 95% level for their total attendance and like number 2 or 3 for their chronic attendance, and shared a lot of their ideas and now is vying to stay in the top half. But
They need a night. They need to.
there you go. Talk to the PTA. Talk to that's where they were getting them from.
All right, Ms. Love.
I don't have any questions, but thank you so much for your presentation. I have to say they stole what I was going to say. I'm with you. When I first heard this idea, I think I first heard it from Dr. Hawkins, and I was like, that's never going to work. But we were on your campus think it was Miss Grace and I and Dr. Hawkins. We were on your campus when the Falcon was announced and wow, yeah, they bought in. So the teachers and staff are doing a great job of really amping that up and they love it. And we also, when we were on your campus, saw the coding program, which I loved and the kids clearly also loved. So I think that that is amazing. So thank you, both of you ladies. Thank you.
One quick question, Mr. Clement, you mentioned it in the response to Ms. Grease. For this one particular year, why did they decide to use just a 1-year look back instead of the normal 3? And if they had used, if it was a 3-year look back, the school wouldn't have been identified, would it have been?
There was nowhere to look. Right, there was no back.
Into the abyss of the pandemic.
There was no
Right.
back, there was no new, and it's not the 3-year model now, it's that every year growth thing, so there's no growth.
I believe they learned from
Their
this
mistake.
scenario
And
and they will adjust it in the future if we ever find ourselves in a single year.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
Thank you. Other than that, appreciate the presentation.
Ms. Cooper.
Thank you for a great presentation and for all your hard work to improve those numbers. I don't have any questions. Thanks.
All right, I will ditto what my colleagues said. I did have a question. I don't want to just ditto it. You worked really hard to improve attendance and made huge strides. So thank you and congratulations to you and your team. I think you appropriately gave them credit for all their hard work. Appreciate it. I did have a question about the suspension rate. I'm just a little bit confused there. So we were identified on the 2 items, chronic absenteeism and suspension.
those are the only 2 items they identified.
Those are the only 2 items that are up
They
for
could have been
identification.
identified.
Yes.
We were
Yeah.
identified with just the chronic absenteeism. Then I have no question. Thank you very much. All right, continuing with education services, we're going to move on to item 5A, adopt resolution 2022-23, number 57, a resolution of the governing board of the Saugus Union School District for participation in Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion. Second.
Okay, Mr. Clement.
All right, so we are very cut and dried here, looking to honor our Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, recognizing all the contributions of all the people within our community that identify in that area and contribute to our community every day.
Okay, fantastic. Any questions? Comments? Okay, it is a resolution, so I will call the roll. Ms. Grease,
Aye.
Ms. Love,
Aye.
Mr. Trunky,
Aye.
Ms. Cooper,
Aye.
and I vote aye. The resolution passes unanimously. Thank you. Item B, conduct first reading of board policies and administrative regulations 0000, philosophy, goals, objectives, and comprehensive plans.
Okay, so we've got 3 that are being updated tonight. They're all very simple, actually. But one of the most simple ones, 420 there is you heard it mentioned over and over tonight, single plan for student achievement, the SPSA for the acronym. That name's really being changed to the school plan. So we can go back now and update our presentations to reflect that change. It is the school plan for student achievement. The other 2 revolve around the accountability and the accountability report card that gets posted on our website that outlines the achievement levels for the schools based on the dashboard and each specific student subgroup that meets that eligibility requirement.
Okay, any questions or comments?
No.
All right, then next meeting, we will bring it back for second reading and adoption. All righty, C, conduct first reading of board policy and administrative regulation and exhibit 1000, community relations.
So this is 1312.2, and this revolves around our adoption process or the complaints about our materials that we're using instructionally. So the exhibit gives the documentation or the document that people would use to submit that complaint. And it's really just an update. All right, questions, comments? Okay, then we will bring it back next meeting for second reading and adoption. And item D, conduct first reading of board policies 5,000 students. So 5123 is the promotion, retention, and acceleration policy. This one, we actually had just updated it just about a couple of months prior to the update coming out. So there was very little changes in this, but it just talks about providing support to students that are identified to be at risk for retention.
Okay, questions or comments? All right, then that too shall be brought back next meeting for second reading and adoption. Moving on to item 6A, student support services, conduct first reading of board policies and administrative regulations 5,000 students.
We have several policies tonight. Some of them are being deleted because they are redundant in information or included in new policies. And that would include the attendance boundaries, TB testing, and the child abuse prevention policies. So 5116 is attendance boundaries, 5141.26 is TB testing, and 5141.41 child abuse prevention are deleted policies. And along that line, there are revised policies that include the child abuse prevention. So again, they were redundant. The revisions of the child abuse BP and AR had a lot of cleanup language and just clarified some obligations that districts could do or before they were mandated to do, and some of the training requirements. In reading those, even though we hadn't updated the policies, these are things that we do on a regular basis and we're following all those mandates. Then the last one that I would share is a policy on mental health. That policy is a new policy. It was missing from our library. And again, with the importance of mental health, it's important as it was more of a statement about what's important to the district and the things that we have in place. And again, these are things that we are doing on a regular basis, and it was important to make that policy statement.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments? Okay, then again, next meeting, we will bring it back for second reading and adoption. Moving on to human resources, item 7A, adopt resolution 2022-23, number 56, a resolution of the governing board of the Saugus Union School District declaring the week of May 21st through 27th, 2023 as classified school employee week. Dr. Stevenson.
All right, I think it's fairly self-explanatory, but
we do.
Oh, you do need a
stand by.
So
I'll
moved.
entertain a motion.
So moved.
All right. I'm sorry, who seconded? Okay, thank you.
All right.
Dr. Stevens.
So like it says, you're declaring May 21st through 27th, 2023 as classified school employee week, or we'll celebrate our classified employees.
All right. Questions or comments? Okay, it is a resolution, so I will call the roll. Ms. Grease,
Aye.
Ms. Love,
Aye.
Mr. Trunky,
Aye.
Ms. Cooper.
Aye.
I vote aye. The resolution passes unanimously. Item B, declare there were no Williams uniform complaints filed during the third quarter of 2022-23 in accordance with the law. Do we need a motion? Yes.
All motion.
All right.
Second.
Thank you. Dr. Stevenson.
All right, so Williams uniform complaints have to do with one of three issues, either issues with instructional materials, with facilities, or teacher vacancy and misassignment. So if someone doesn't have the adopted instructional materials, someone could complain. If facilities are unsafe and not being fixed, that could be a complaint. Or if we have a teacher with an incorrect credential in teaching, then that would also, someone could complain. We have had no complaints this quarter.
All right, questions, comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes. Okay, item C, conduct first reading of board policies and administrative regulations 4,000 personnel.
All right. Got some Got a list. Some of these are quite old, and it's interesting because you know how we have 3 separate board policy numbers for the same board policy, depending on if you're certificated, classified, or administrative staff. So somehow a couple of these, I think when we did our mass upload, we uploaded maybe the 4100s or the 4200 or the 4300, but one of them got missed. And I was going back into our records and I couldn't find them. So I thought it'd be best to just bring them back. The first one on BP 4215 on evaluation and supervision, it just has some minor language changes, and then it talks about recognizing employees for exemplary performance and having employees take responsibility when their when improvement is needed. The next one on staff development, it just talks about staff development being aligned with the LCAP, with the local control and accountability plan. And then it also gives a list of different types of staff development. The next AR is about ergonomics, talks about the definition, the importance, and that we should have an ergonomic plan and to report symptoms to supervisors and all things like that. Certification, this would only apply to our certificated employees. And this board policy gives us the hierarchy for hiring employees. So, do they have a clear preliminary credential? If they don't, then we could look at interns. If we don't have interns, we could look for putting someone on a provisional intern permit, things like that. And then it also gives additional language about the national board, the professional teachers standards there. And they want to incentivize people to participate in that. All right, and then the next one is a board policy, an AR, and an exhibit on exposure control plan for bloodborne pathogens. A lot of it has to do, our bloodborne pathogens plan needs to be consistent with our injury and illness prevention plan. And then there's a lot in here about the hepatitis B vaccination, and the exhibit updates the language on the paper that we have people sign if they decline the hepatitis B vaccination. The next one is universal precautions. So they moved around some of the things that were in the AR and the regulation into the board policy. And then it has more about, bloodborne pathogens, hepatitis B. And then the occupational, there's definitions are updated in this one. And then finally, employee compensation. The deleted labor code citation that's not applicable to public agencies. And so it reflects education code instead about overtime. And then we have some deleted policies because they were absorbed into other board policies or regulations and are no longer needed. And that's it.
That's a lot, yes.
This is why I'm bringing them to you in sections.
Yes.
Oh, this is only a section?
Right?
Yes, I have one more. I have one more section to bring to you next time.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, then we will bring them all back next time for second reading and adoption.
Thank you.
And we'll take a look at the next section when it comes. All right. Moving on to business services, item 8A, approve school site building phase for seismic mitigation program funding AB 300. Do I have a motion?
So second.
Okay, Mr. Heinlein.
Okay, I have a short little presentation about this. Just a little bit of review. AB 300 again is that bill that required the Department of General Services in 1999 to develop this inventory of school buildings that had walls that were non-wood frame that didn't meet the standards of the 1976 building code. For districts that had buildings on that list, our requirements are to identify the buildings needing retrofitting or upgrades, and then for us to take affirmative action. That action includes developing a scope with costs, updated costs, trying to figure out temporary housing if there's a cost to that. And then secondly, trying to figure out how to fund the repairs or the replacement of the buildings, some of the potential or bonds, the California Seismic Mitigation Program, or other types of financing. In order to qualify for this SMP or the funds from the state, you have to follow the Department of State Architect process 0803. We've looked at this table before, and really the district has finished phase 1. Phase 2 and 3 will finish this evening. Phase 2 being we want to move this building down the replacement option. Phase 3 being we want to move down the rehabilitation option. So what sites have buildings? We have Cedar Creek, Sky Blue, Rio Vista, Rosedale, Emblem, and Santa Clarita. So the initial preferred phase that came out of the facility meeting November 16th, 2021 for Cedar Creek, there's a listing of all the buildings at Cedar Creek that are on the AB 300 list. The decision was made to rehab some or all of them and replace the admin NPR space to most closely match or to replace it with a building that would most closely match the needs of the district now. After our meeting on February 21st, the recommendation was to not rehabilitate any of the buildings at Cedar Creek because of the seismic issues there, but to move forward and replace those. So Cedar Creek is the only site that would have a differing phase that we're bringing to the board tonight. The other sites, Emblem, having 3 buildings, we're still recommending that we rehabilitate all the buildings at Emblem. Rio Vista, replace the Kender building to build something else that really takes into consideration not only Kender, but also TK, and then rehabilitate the rest. Rosedale being an identical layout, basically, we would do the same thing there, replace the Kender building and rehabilitate the others. When we look at Santa Clarita, the phasing of that site is still the same. All those buildings need substantial seismic work, so we'd want to replace all the buildings on that campus. Sky Blue stays the same, replacing the admin NPR and rehabilitating the rest. And that is it.
All right, questions or comments? Ms. Grease?
I don't think I have any.
Okay, Ms. Love,
I don't either. Thanks, Nick.
Mr. Trunky,
No questions.
Ms. Cooper. Doesn't look like she has any questions, and I'm fine.
No questions.
Thank you, and thank you very much, Mr. Heinlein. So, with that being the case, all in favor of approving?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Ready. Passes 5-0. Item B, approve resolution 2022-23, number 58, a resolution of the governing board of the Saugus Union School District to adopt findings that the new track and field playground and outdoor classroom at Rio Vista Elementary School is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All right, Mr. Heinlein.
Sure. We follow this same process for any project that requires CEQA. The first thing we do is we hire a consultant to go through the process, and then they give us a report. And on page 2 of their report, it lists why the project is exempt from CEQA, and that's because we're merely just replacing or reconstructing something that's there. So that is the basis for the recommendation to approve the resolution stating that this project is exempt from going through CEQA.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, it is a resolution, so I'll call the roll. Ms. Grace,
Aye.
Ms. Love,
Aye.
Mr. Trunky,
Aye.
Ms. Cooper.
Aye.
I vote aye. The resolution passes unanimously. Item 8C, approve U.S. Access Consultants Incorporated, Saugus contract number 22-23-392, accessibility inspection services for all 16 school sites, district office, and district support center. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Trunky, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Ms. Love.
That
Mr.
was
Headline.
exactly at the same time.
It really
It
was.
really was. And so it just keeps closer to me. So it got to my ear. You know how it's.
This item has been on our to-do list for a while because of how important it is to the district in general. Oftentimes, almost all the time, when we're working on a new project, when the project is at the division of the state architect, they find items that we need to update in order to meet current ADA standards. So the idea here is to have a binder, which is what this company creates, a binder with a location of all of the items in all the different places with pictures that need to be addressed in order to meet ADA standards. So not only will it become a time saver, but it will also give us the ability to, if we're doing a project or a small project and we need to update something, we can take care of it at that point, or at least have something to work on. And I'll give you an example. Rio Vista, this track and field project, when I went to DSA asked, well, what restrooms will the students use that are at the track and field? And so we identify the restroom, and then they go into the restroom and I say, well, you have to update this restroom in order to meet current code. So if we would have known that, I mean, it's something that our M&O team could take care of and not have to wait in order to put it in a project and fix it that way.
Okay. Any questions, comments?
I just have one quick question, and I'm sure it's an easy question to answer. When you look at the dollar amount, it's a really big dollar amount.
Yes.
And one, a person on the street might just say, oh, well, all you have to do is check the striping in the parking lot and the few ramps and some of the stalls in some of the restrooms. But I assume there's a lot more work involved in that, like the particular thing that you just mentioned about the track. I'm sure they have to measure doorways, how wide they are, height of furniture,
wheelchair turnaround distances, height of fixtures, height of sinks, any impediments to flow, for anyone with a disability, where the location of truncated domes are, which is the name of those yellow things that break your eggs. But it's everything, so that we can really know what's going on.
And we've done a lot of facilities improvements, and we've taken those things to DSA, and we really pride ourselves in doing that. But then every time you touch a little part, it doesn't seem as easy to just go and say, oh, you've done the striping, you've done that. So we really want more of a comprehensive look to make sure that as now we have all of those things, have we also addressed all of these other things properly?
and then the binder that they create is really a roadmap for the future too, right? You can
Right.
keep track of every little thing.
It's part of the master plan.
Thank you.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Motion passes. Item D, approval of declaring certain district-owned property as surplus. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I will second.
I'll second.
Too late. Mr. Highline.
It's that East Coast time delay.
I get it, yeah.
This is for a big portion of our older IFPs, 331.
Okay, any questions?
Just a quick question. Are you having any luck selling any of them?
I knew somebody would ask that question and I forgot to find the answer. I'm sure they will definitely sell. I don't know if we've listed them yet. I have
I
not.
know we approved some either the last meeting or the meeting before.
Yes, it's small, like 30 years. And then 2 of those went to food services.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Motion passes. All right, our next meeting is on May 9th. And at this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. All righty.
Second.
All righty, motion to adjourn and second at 9:09 PM. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Opposed? Nobody. Thank you. Y'all have a
It's
great
after
evening.
midnight there.
It is.
Night.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Catherine. Appreciate you.
All right, see you later.
Bye.